what made you decide to open a store where you sell video games and guns?
They bring it by and trade it for a gun or trade it for knives.
Would this be financially viable?
Probably not. I haven't paid myself a penny out of this business.
Do you honestly recommend starting a business like this in 2023? Folks, we are here today at the Swap Shop in Frankfort, Kentucky. It is one of the weirdest video game stores I've ever been in, equal parts game store and pawn shop. And today, Shane, the owner, is going to give us an inside look at what it's like to own a store like this. We're gonna do an absolutely massive trade-in deal and see if we can make a huge purchase as well. All right, so Shane brought a few games for you to go through today.
There's a few things in here.
Before we do, folks, Shane, the illustrious owner of the Swap Shop, I was wondering if you could take us around the store and as you do, maybe give me a little background on how this all started and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, for sure. So I started by selling on Amazon probably 4 years ago. Probably getting closer to 5 now.
Fellow Amazon man, I love it. This, you guys know, is making me a little bit excited. Huge case of handhelds, some switches up there. So how long ago was that you started this store, did you say?
September 1st, 2022.
And so walk me through the different areas of the store.
So kind of over here, you've got like your silver coins, any gold that we might have.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then some dollars flowing out over here, and then your knives. We do a lot with knives. We sell a lot of them.
That's like a Rambo machete right there. That's crazy.
Fishing reels, fishing lures. And then you got our rods and reels set up here. These are like kind of just like the lower end reels. Like if you just want to fish and don't care about the reel, do that.
As interested as I am in the fishing stuff, this thing is completely distracting me. I don't know if this is probably only the third one that I've seen in person. What are you doing with a GameCube kiosk?
A buddy of mine found it at the 127 yard sales. And
crazy.
He got it for $200. And it worked. It has the demo disc and everything. Everything works. We replaced took some other GameCube controls we had and replaced the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
We did. Cleaned it out. Yeah.
That brings us to the fantastic video game section. And I have to ask, man, what made you decide to open a store where you sell video games and guns?
What we found out when we kind of opened early on was, like, at the beginning, I was still sending all my games into Amazon, and we didn't really have like a client base for video game stuff. So what I found out though pretty quick was the people that were bringing me video games and like these old collections, like the 64, Super Nintendo, which is the stuff I'm really into.
Yeah.
Is the older Nintendo
By the way,
stuff.
Killer selection.
Yeah, what I found out is the people that were bringing me games were kind of like the crowd whose, kids had moved out, and those type of people, they don't typically go in a video game store.
Right.
They come in to look at guns and look at knives and stuff that they've collected their whole lives.
Yeah.
Well, then they come in and they say, if I have it out, they say, I've got a ton of that stuff at home. And I'm like, okay, well, bring it back and trade it for a gun.
Yeah.
And they do. They bring it by and trade it for a gun or trade it for knives or just sell it.
I want to ask you, like, what some of the hardest parts have been of growing a store like this, some of your challenges in the last few years. Why don't we do that as we start going through my bins over here, because we've got plenty of stuff to look at. And folks, the great thing is I actually didn't tell Shane, this is a little surprise. I brought an extra couple bins worth of stuff that he hasn't even seen yet. The rest of it, we've already kind of agreed on a price. I sent him a price charting list, but we've got a couple bins worth of inventory that he's just gonna have to make offers on the fly. So that'll be a little interesting. All right, so as we kind of inspect, because at this point, since we've agreed more or less on a price, really the biggest thing is condition. With a lot like this, what would you say has been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in, like, because you hear a lot, like you see retail stores closing all the time, restaurants all around are closing up shop. People say like retail's dead.
Yeah.
Like, is it dead?
The biggest struggle that I will say we have, and it kind of plays off of what you just said, is figuring out what to put on the retail floor versus what to put online. So it's hard to run a shop like this these days without selling online.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't do pawns, because we don't do pawns.
Interesting.
So the biggest issue is when we're getting people in the store, the majority of the big collections we buy is because we have something on the floor that somebody has at home.
I'm curious as I look around, because you've got guns on the back wall, you've got knives and coins and bullion up here, you've got consoles and games. Like, what sells the best for you?
See, we sell a lot of silver. So silver, like, as soon as I get a big collection of silver in, it's pretty much gone. I think I bought 30 1-ounce bars the other day, and they were literally gone in 2 days.
Wow.
So we do sell a lot of video games. It's surprisingly enough, and I know after you left last time, I was in a panic because I was like, I gotta get more Wii stuff because we sell a lot of Wii stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
we do too. That's actually our best-selling console. Ooh, and we've got some, check this out. We've got some lovely little boxed stuff. I'm sure what a lot of people may be wondering as they're seeing some of this, why we as like online video game sellers would do a deal like this and clearly get less than, because we agreed on like more or less 50% of price charting. But the reason is that like different video game like vendors and sellers and retailers have different business models. Different stuff works for you than works for me. Everything in this bin, what it has in common is we can't sell it well on Amazon. And that's the biggest thing that we've been focusing on. We don't have an in-person component where like theoretically a lot of this stuff could do really well. Well, I'm gonna leave you to continue going through this. As you do, I wanna take a little bit of a look over here at some of the stuff that I may put in the pile to make a trade with.
Here comes the money.
So I guess I should ask before I start, like just making huge stacks here, like how much of this are you looking to keep in stock, if anything? Do you remember exactly what the dollar amount was that we came to for those bins? We can give a little bit of a spoiler here.
It was 4,000.
4,000. That sounds about right. So if I can, I'd like to find 4,000-ish of stuff to take home so I, don't have to leave you with no cash in the bank either.
If there's like multiples like that, I don't mind you taking 2 of them and leaving
like
one.
A copy of each game.
If there's
or
only
so.
a single game, just take whatever,
Don't mind if I do. Well, as I'm making these stacks, I have to ask, like, if someone came to you and was thinking about opening either a video game store or a pawn shop and was like, give me some advice, like, do you honestly recommend starting a business like this in 2023?
It depends on how much capital you have. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's just having money. I mean, we've been open, like I said, over a year. It's been, I think, 13, almost 14 months now. And I haven't paid myself a penny out of this business. So I haven't paid anything. Just because I have 2 employees, I just hired an editor for our YouTube channel. I just, the overhead.
Yeah,
so
well,
the big
and that's something a lot of people don't really think about. They're like, okay, I'm gonna start a business, I'm gonna make a bunch of money, I'm gonna work for myself.
So I have 2 businesses. I have an IT business as well. That's where my family survives off of, is the IT business. And then this is just kind of like what I'm trying to grow.
But if you didn't have that alternate source of income, like, would this be financially viable?
If I didn't have any employees and did everything myself, probably not.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
I don't think that it, so my overhead, I'll just tell you, is $8,000 a month.
Okay.
So in this little bitty spot.
Dang.
So, yeah. So it's...
Well, I appreciate that transparency. We always say on Phoenix Resale, we're money positive.
Yeah.
So we don't shame anyone for spending or making money. What else can you say about like the kind of numbers that this store is able to do if your overhead is so high?
We're doing well, like, in terms of like the bank account itself, because I'm trying not to take money out of the business for myself and my family until our bank account reaches a certain amount of money.
By the way, let's give a glimpse of the kinds of things that I'm picking out. Fast selling, first party stuff, like this is all perfect for Amazon. Any Amazon sellers out there know. Honestly, any online seller, like if you list Pokemon Puzzle League or Mario Tennis for the right price with a good photo and like have returns and you have good feedback and all that, like you can get it to sell the same day.
And the other thing I'll say about having a shop like this as well, you have to have an extreme amount of time. Taking that time and being able to take money is a lot, because I mean, like, I'm doing just here like 60-hour weeks a lot of the times. I would say since we've been here 14 months, probably 10% of Frankfurt know we even exist. Jeez. And I spend $2,000 a month on marketing.
Okay, that's another thing that people don't talk about a lot is marketing costs, because like some of my friends who will not be named, obscure YouTubers who own video game stores, they don't really, their marketing is free, right? Because they already have a brand, but if you're not starting from that point, it can be expensive.
Yeah, getting your name out there is the biggest thing. And like, if you can't afford to if I couldn't afford to run Facebook ads and have my billboards and the different things that I do, then we would never have any business in here.
Wow.
Because 90% of our business comes from people that see us on Facebook.
Sure.
The other 10% is probably word of mouth.
What's this guy's name, by the way?
He doesn't have a name.
Can we call him Phoenix?
We can call him Phoenix. That's his name.
The price just doubled, folks. So just turned on this DSi here. Look at the name. With that profile picture. Oh, classic. Like, what do you think is the biggest way that this swap shop is better than other swap shops? Like, what are you doing the best, and what's your best area conversely for improvement?
So in terms of, so you can't open a store these days and be like everybody else. If you open a store like this and you're just like everybody else, then it's not going to succeed.
Right.
I've had friends that have opened stores and tried to be kind of like everyone else, and they just didn't work out. Like, this place is unique. There's not very many stores like this. There's nothing around like this around here.
I was just saying, with all due respect, of course, this is one of the weirdest game stores I've ever been in.
Yeah.
But you were just saying it's not really a game store.
Yeah, it's not really a game store. It's just, we just love games. Like, Gabe is pretty much like a walking encyclopedia for video game stuff. So actually a lot of like the really big heavy hitter games out there come from him. He goes around and finds stuff and then
and also Phoenix Resale.
Just having weird stuff like, for instance, the fire extinguisher.
Yes, pull that out.
These old glass fire extinguishers, they're like, they call them like fire grenades, fire bombs.
That is so cool. Is it just water in there?
No, so it's a chemical. It's just like you would have in like a fire extinguisher. So I'm pretty sure they actually had them on American Pickers and they threw one at a fire and it puts it out. So
wow.
Yeah, but it's a really cool piece. This is the kind of stuff that gets me excited when it comes in. Because
absolutely, and it's the kind of thing that I've literally never seen in another game store / swap shop. So that's really cool. Sometimes I describe this channel as kind of like American Pickers, but for video games.
Yeah.
You guys think, is that accurate? So what's like tell me the story of either a huge profitable flip that you've had with some random thing that's come through the door, or like one of the weirdest items you've sold.
The craziest flip we've ever had was a month after we opened.
Really?
Why? The most profitable flip that we've had was, we had a guy come in and his dad was actually a customer in the first month or so that we were open. He said, hey, you know, my dad passed away, I'm trying to sell a bunch of knives. He pulls out a bunch of books that are just full of knives. And
wow.
I start looking through them and they're all case knives from like the 60s. Brand new condition, like
very valuable brand for anyone who doesn't know, Case Knives.
I'm like, you know, this is gonna cost me $5,000-$6,000. Which back then, I wasn't doing $5,000-$6,000 deals. He comes in, he says, hey, you know, I need to pay my bills for the month. He was like, this is some of the stuff my dad left me. He was like, I just want to get rid of it. And he was like, there were 265 total knives. And he was like, you know, just give me $1,500. And I was like,
dang.
And he came in 2 minutes before we closed. And I was like, dude, just leave them with me overnight. I'll go through them. Yeah. Come back tomorrow and you're gonna get a lot more than $1,500. He was like, I gotta have it. He's like, I gotta pay my bills tonight. He was like, or they're gonna throw me out basically.
Dang. So he just needed the cash right then and there. And what did it all end up selling for?
And it ended up selling for $12,000.
Some of you guys may be wondering, Caleb, what the heck? Why are you selling Super Mario Bros? This is like perfect for Amazon. And I would say, yes, it is, except for this little thing right here. This is technically the Middle East version. I believe it's region free. The UP
price went down. It's $39.95.
It means the UPC is different on Amazon, so like this specific version won't actually sell fast. It's really annoying. One of the joys of selling on Amazon. So I guess now that we've verified the condition on almost all the stuff in the price charting list, I was curious if you wanted to take a look at some of our extras bin here that we didn't put in the list. And if you want to just kind of shoot us some offers on the fly, we can say yay or nay. And as you're inspecting it, I also wanted to ask, because you've got over here, this is one of the weirder items in the store as well, an outdoor pitching machine that was here last time, believe it or not, hasn't sold. I was just curious from you, like, what's the single weirdest item that has ever come through the door? While you think about it, what do you think? Is this worth it? Is this worth anything to you?
Yeah, is it just box only?
Yeah, it's just a box. A lot of these are box only because on Amazon, you don't get any more for the box. Like a complete in-box 2DS is worth the same as a loose 2DS.
I need this.
You need that?
I've got like 30 complete in-box 3DS consoles. Like different ones, and this is one of the boxes I'm missing.
Well, let me know. I mean, what's your gut feeling on some of these?
25? Wow. Yeah, so this one maybe like
20 and 10.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Wow.
These ones also pretty light. Honestly, a little bit worse conditions. How about 10 for both?
That's fine. Yeah, I was gonna say 5 each. So wow.
I told him to make me offers. That's how you want to do it financially, and here I am just throwing out $10. All right, these ones feel good. These are pretty heavy.
10 each on these.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And then these, missing the battery cap, and they don't have the receiver. Are these worth anything to you, or would you just pass on those?
Yeah, I would still take them. What? I think they're about 30 or so without it, so like 15 each.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. Do you know the value of this?
Silent Hill 2 Retro Streams on Xbox. That one's like, is it?
Dang, Gabe is coming in cold clutch.
Here.
He is. This is one that like all the listings for it on Amazon have trouble. Either like there's no sales rank or like there's counterfeit claims or things like that. So it's just not worth the trouble for us. You said 30 to 40?
40 to 50.
40 to 50. Uh-oh.
Like 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 10 worth it for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alrighty. Well, we'll keep making our way through these slowly, but I'll spare you guys of the entire process. Let's cut back quickly to over there and hopefully make our piles a little bit bigger for this final trade. And folks, as I'm sifting through my very favorite Wii section here, I was curious to hear from you guys how much you enjoy this form of content, like the interviews and getting to see kind of an inside glimpse of someone else's video game related business. I'm starting to realize these are some of my favorite videos to make. And wanted to say, if any of you guys out there own a cool video game related business, feel free to shoot me a DM or an email, and would love to get in contact, especially if you're somewhere in the Kentucky region, because I love getting inside glimpses of different business models and just using that to make my own business better. Spanky and I are having an incredible month right now, partly because we literally just never stop learning and refining our process and figuring out what's working best for other people and trying to implement it ourselves. Alrighty folks, so after much hunting and processing and prepping, this is the whole bin of stuff that I'm hopefully going to be coming away with today as trade. And Shane, you said that you have now the total cost of everything in this bin, which I haven't heard yet.
The total cost of everything in this bin, $3,020.05 after.
Dang, okay, so actually not too far off from the 4K that we had talked about for my 3 bins of stuff. But tell me, what was the total offer of the miscellaneous stuff that you guys had gone through? There's like some random, we've got like this Eon GameCube adapter. We've got a whole bunch of like miscellaneous console boxes that can do well.
Then here's the rest of that stuff.
And then, yeah, if you want to get a peek over there, a ton of random like
Boxes
waivers
and games.
yeah, this is kind of a cool
Silent
N64
Hill.
case. Yeah, Silent Hill.
And a bunch of cool 3DS boxes, which are here. And then, so these were in that other bin. I just pulled them out because they weren't on your price charting stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So like for everything here, I was looking like $1,000.
1,000 flat.
Because I was at like 9 here and then $50 a piece on these guys.
All right, Spanky, how does that sound to you?
Great.
And then the last thing I think would be
The amiibos.
the amiibo bin over here. You said there were 85 amiibos?
There's 85 of them.
Okay, so this is something that actually does sell really well on Amazon, but we came to find out when we tried to list them that good old Spanky here doesn't actually know most of the characters. So listing them is a lot harder to actually get done. Let's have a little quiz. Who's that?
That's orange hair girl.
Idiot.
What were you thinking on this bin?
5.
500?
$5.
500 would be right around like $5 or $6 a piece, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like 6.
Honestly, at this point, we've been sitting on this bin for literally months, so I'm good with that.
Okay, cool.
Hater Hank, never say I didn't give a good deal to someone. Gosh darn it. Dude, I appreciate you so much. Folks, come on out to the swap shop if you're in the area, and if you want to see the last time I got a behind the scenes look at a game store with a struggling YouTuber named Rick, check out this video right down here, and we'll catch you guys on the flip.